Hi, this is Misha, and we've got a little story time here. My favorite Mossberg, and why you usually see me going for Mossberg shotguns over Remingtons. Now, I just kind of grabbed the first Remington to hand. This is just an older police magnum. I think it's Illinois Highway Patrol or something. It is a police mag, which is nice. Older one, obviously, with the blued finish. Wood furniture, 20-inch barrel. Yeah. Now, I grew up Remington 870s. Usually the old Wingmasters were very common. That's pretty much what everyone had. They mostly used them for hunting. Duck hunting is very popular here, amongst other things. Also turkey. And Mossbergs were a little bit looked down on. The 500 was kind of seen as the cheaper economy version, yada yada yada. Remember, the early 500s only had one action bar instead of two. That was more of a patent thing with Remington, but when they could, Mossberg went to 2 bars. But I did like some of the features, and I've pointed these out in other videos, so I'm not going to harp on now. But I like the tang safety. I found it just better, even though I'm generally right-handed. I also like the placement of the slide release kind of here. You notice your finger is very far from the trigger guard when you're using either one. Now let's look at the Remington. As most of all of you know, of course, your safety is a push button. Great for right, but your finger's quite close to the trigger. And if you're left-handed, it's a little different. And your release is here. Again, your fingers are a little closer to the trigger. Not a big deal. It's not a bad design, obviously. People have used it for a long time, and it works very well. But if I had my choice, I'll go with the Mossberg. I also like, notice this, the elevator is on the up. It only comes down when you have it back. Here it's back up. I like this for a few reasons. As you're loading shells, you don't have to worry about pushing it out of your way. Also, I could easily feel up there to see if I had a shell left. Safety check it. Remington, as you know, your elevator's down. It only goes up when it's slide is back. So when you go to load it, you have to push that up, feel. Now this does have the advantage, it protects the internals here a little more from dust and grime getting in. So, but I still kind of like the Mossberg style, just a smidgen better. On the other hand, I do know that the Remington has a steel receiver. The Mossberg, even these military ones, are alloy, but you know, that's kind of a mixed blessing. Alloy does save on weight, and weight is nice. Anyway, being a fair-minded chap, when I was probably 19 or so, I was in college, of course, and so knowing I was coming home from Christmas, I had my local gun shop order both a Remington home defense and a Mossberg 500 Persuader for me. I was going to pick them up over Christmas. They're priced about the same. I think they're about in the $250-ish ballpark. And see which one I really liked the best. Well, got them, took them out, shot the Mossberg, shot fine. It's a 12-gauge shotgun. I shot it first because, you know, Mossbergs. I figured she was going to have them. Got the Remington out of its box, loaded it up, chambered, shot 1 round, racked the action, and click. The shell was not feeding from the tube. Now, 1, I was young, and I didn't know as much about guns then. But 2, it was a brand new gun under warranty. I wasn't going to mess with it. Took it, sent it back to Remington. I'm sure it could be fixed, but for them, it was enough of a complicated fix, they just replaced the shotgun. Yeah, so it was goofed up enough from the factory that it was easier for the manufacturer just to send a whole new gun. it came into the dealers, and I told him, I said, you know, this you know, by this point, more than a little bit of time has gone by. This Mossberg 500 is working great. Really don't need the Remington. Just sell it, take your cut, and I'll, you know, just get. So basically, when the brand new 870 Home Defense came back in, I just had him put it on the shelf and flip it. And that's pretty much where I've been ever since. I've had several Mossbergs. I had that 500. Then I went to the 590, which was their more mil-spec version. And then the 590A1 came out, and I picked up one of those with bead sight, which I've had for a very long time, only recently selling it, to get this version. And this is kind of what I think of as a bit of the Mossberg I've always wanted. You laugh at me, but Modern Firearms, World Guns RU, Max's website, which is one of the few resources really available around 99, 2000, had a gun, a Mossberg 590 pictured just like this. Heat shield, ghost ring sights, Speedfeed stock with the shell storage, even had this strap here on the pump forearm. So I basically set this gun up the way I wanted. It pretty much came as you see it here. I mostly just changed the furniture. This is one of the retro guns. I took the wood off and put this on, and I took the wood off and put the Speedfeed stock on. Both parts are Mossberg OEM. I really like it. Of course, it's getting a little heavy, but that's not a bad thing either with shotguns. I definitely think it's one of those times when having this alloy receiver is a good thing. Otherwise, it would get very heavy. 20-inch barrel. It is the heavy wall, of course, being an A1. Has a 9-shot capacity, 8+1. Plus, we have additional shell storage in the stock, 2 on this side and 2 on the opposing side. Another reason I like the Speedfeed, it's a little bit shorter than the factory OEM stock, which is 14 inches. This is about 13 and a half length of pull, which really suits my shorter frame better. This does have the metal safety, metal trigger guard. It's got the ghost ring adjustable sights. I think these were originally made by LPA, and then I think Mossberg just licensed them and makes a copy of the LPA. They might still be genuine LPA though, I'm not sure. There's some writing on the side, but doesn't do me much good. Heck, the whole sight thing doesn't do me much good, but Mossberg really doesn't charge much more for ghost rings, and it matches my Benelli nicely. And of course, heat shields, bayonet lugs, slings, all very cool, very classic Winchester 1897 trench gun. So yeah, I've just always had nice experiences with Mossberg, and they've always been willing to do more of the military models. They even have a 590A1 called the US service model, the US military model. It's basically just a bead sight version of this gun with the polymer furniture, but it's pretty cool. Whereas Remington has never really done a mil-spec model. I wish they would. The military, specifically mostly the Navy, used a version called the M870 Mark I, which was kind of like this, but it had a slightly longer barrel at 21 inches, and it had a bayonet adapter. I really wish they'd do one of those. But they just, even the bayonet adapters, original ones, are crazy expensive to get. So yeah, if Remington ever does a military version, I'll probably get it. But it just seems like Mossberg has always made the kinds of shotguns that really trip my trigger, you know what I mean? And they've been reliable, hecka durable. Anyone who thinks a Mossberg is flimsy just needs to pick up a 590A1. And what's nice is these guns are a little cheaper than Remington's police magnums, so you get the same durability quality. And as Mossberg is very quick to remind you, these guns were built to meet or exceed mil-spec standards, and that's why they were selected for service back in the late 80s or 90s. I do know the early ones had bead sights, and then later ones would have the ghost rings. Now, yes, the Benelli M4 or M1014 is used, but there's a ton of pump shotguns because sometimes a pump is just the better way to go. It's simple, dependable, it's good for breaching doors, which is frankly what most shotguns have been used for the last 20 years or more. It's not like the old days of trench guns in World War I, but this would definitely fulfill that role. It has all the features of the trench gun plus double the magazine capacity. So yeah, that's kind of just why I go for Mossbergs. I carry both Remington and Mossberg in my store, and both sell very well. But I have to admit, I've had fewer customer complaints with Mossbergs than I have Remingtons. This could be that people just don't expect as much out of a Mossberg, or it could just be that, you know, they're more consistent. I've had a few Remingtons that were, you know, defective. Not many, because I really don't carry the Expresses. I mostly carry the police magnums because they are built well. And that's my opinion. If you get an 870 today, if you can swing a police magnum, I would. They just seem like they're built with more love and care. And the parts are a little more durable. You get more metal, less polymer, stronger springs. They're just going to last longer. So yeah, I don't know. Just kind of felt like talking about it. The shotgun was near to hand, and thought someone might be interested to hear why I always harp on about Mossbergs and don't have a lot to say about Remingtons. Yeah. If you have any questions or comments, we welcome them below as always, and please feel free to check out our playlist. We have one just for shotguns. If you liked the video, we'd appreciate a click and a share. And if you'd like to help support the channel, we'd greatly appreciate it if you'd check out the link to our Patreon page. Well, this is Misha, and we will catch you next time.